Welcome to Rocksolid Productions, where in this video we're going to take a look at the Retron HD. Didn't we already review this one already? Stay tuned. Gary here with Rocksolid Productions. If this is your first time to the channel, I just want to take a second and say thank you for stopping by and checking out what we have going on here today. If you like what you see here, I invite you to check out some of the other videos we have here on the channel, including an entire playlist dedicated just to Hyperkin products. And if you really like what you see here, do me a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification, and let me know if you could play any one series of any game that you don't currently own. What would it be? For me, you know what? Because my library is so big, it's kind of hard to kind of tell. But I would really like to play Little Samson. I know. It's an expensive game. The only way I'll ever do it is by emulation if I ever decide to do that. But it is something that's out there. So back in August of 2017, almost 3 years ago from when I'm filming this one, I did an unboxing and a separate review of this guy here. This is the Retron HD. Now shortly after that video, I actually returned my Retron HD. In the early days of the channel, what I would do is I would try something. If I liked it, I kept it. If I didn't like it, I actually returned it. So at that point in time, I had other systems I thought worked better for my needs, so I actually returned my Retron HD. But now recently I have picked up the Hyper Blaster HD. If you haven't seen that video, check it up. I'll have it linked up right up there for you. And well, our initial results were not good. Now, I don't think it's a response to that video or anything like that, but Hyperkin has recently released a video showing how to make sure that your Hyper Blaster HD works. And one of the things that they tout in there is to use it with this console here. So we are going to be doing a separate video testing this system with that accessory. Keep an eye out for that. Again, another reason to stay subscribed. But I figured since I had to pick up one of these anyways, I've got new equipment, new games, different perspectives than I did 3 years ago. We're going to go through, we are going to unbox it, and we're going to test it out again and see if our impressions of the Retron HD are any different now versus what we had back in August 2017. Let's hit the bench. So here we have the Retron HD on the bench. As you can see, I paid just under $32 for this. Now this is the black version. There is a gray version, which is actually the one that we originally reviewed. On the front here, you can see 720p output, 4x3 or 16x9 switch, premium controller included, NTSC and PAL switch, and includes a 6-foot micro USB cable for power, which is all very, very nice. On the back, exactly what you see on the front, 720p, 16x9, 4x3, premium controller, NTSC PAL, and 6-foot micro cable. And also it says 8-bit gaming never looked this good. The Retron HD plays original NTSC and PAL NES games in beautiful crisp 720p, includes one premium classic style controller, a 3-foot HD cable, and a 6-foot micro USB charge cable. I don't know why they call it a charge cable, it's a power cable. It's amazingly high compatibility with NES titles, assures you and your game collection are in for a treat. PAL cartridges work at the flip of a switch. Also here again, you can see HD audio and video, high compatibility, 4x3, 16x9, premium classic style Cadet controller with a 10-foot cable, 3-foot HD cable, 6-foot micro USB cable, also includes AV ports with AV cables. If AC adapter is not included, we strongly advise you use a 5-volt, 1-amp USB wall AC adapter. Interesting that they call out that it may or may not include an AC adapter. Let's open it up. Now, the system itself, pretty small. This is, like I mentioned, the black one. I actually do like the looks of the gray one better. I think it looks more like the actual NES. Here is the system itself, fairly small and compact. We'll take a closer look at that in a second. Here is that Cadet controller. I've been using the wireless one for a long time and have really, really liked it. AV cables along with your power cable. It includes your HDMI cable, and then this actually does include a power brick. So looking at some of the details of the system itself. First and foremost is you do have the cartridge slot here. One thing of note, this is a hardware-based system. Unlike Hyperkin's Retron 5, which dumps the ROM and then plays the game, this plays everything right on the machine. It is a hardware-based solution. They also utilize what they call their perfect pin technology here. You do have the Hyperkin dog ear here. This will light up blue when power is applied. On the face of it itself, you can see player 1, player 2 ports, the power and reset buttons. These look identical to the original NES. On the bottom, you have a PAL and NTSC switch right here. Verify that it is in the NTSC position or PAL position depending on where you are looking to play. On the back, you have your micro USB input for power, your HDMI output, composite video output, and 4x3 16x9 switch. So this has a lot of nice features on the back of it here too. The looks and styling and overall really reminds me a lot of their Mega Retron HD, which is a pretty decent clone system. Now, since it plays NES games, how does it compare in size to an NES? Well, it's pretty teeny tiny. What about a top loader? Well, the top loader is still longer, but not much wider. So here you can see, original NES, top loader, and then the Retron HD. This looks even darker than what I remember. We are going to go into Super Mario Brothers, and here again you can just see how dark Mario looks, and it's one of the things that I initially didn't care for about the Retron HD, and here 3 years later it still is the same. Now, this is also one of the first systems, and we will go into a one-player game, where I first started to notice what's called the reverse duty cycle, and what that means is that the audio is off on certain things, like the coins. Listen here. Hear how it's pitched up? That's part of the reverse duty cycle, which basically means, it's just the way that the system handles audio coming through it. It is just that little bit off. Great example there of how the audio is not necessarily the most authentic. Now, I know a lot gets made about lag and latency with clone systems. I was able to get through there without too many issues. I don't think that lag is a major issue on this machine, although it does have some. I'm not going to say that there's none. Next up is Battletoads, and it's a classic for the NES, but it's also a game that's had its problems. Now, if you see here on the title screen, at least on my TV, hopefully it comes through on the capture, the Battletoads logo. There you can see kind of going through the top of the B and the top of the S. You can see BS. The bottom part, a slightly different green than what's above. We're going to see the issue starts at level 2. So we're going to fly through level 1 real quick. I will say this game seems dark. Kind of like Mario felt a little dark. Overall responsiveness actually feels better than I remember. Oh, I got a couple of the flies there. Yes, and I got the extra guy. That scene always kind of reminded me of if I was playing on the Virtual Boy, quite honestly. So now here's where if we're going to run into issues, where it will happen. And it's just happened. Now, this isn't exclusive just to this console. Most clone systems have an issue with Battletoads. I think it's actually something they wrote into the code of the game to make sure that you were playing on authentic hardware. Battletoads? Yeah, it's got to be a pass for this system. Now on to Castlevania. No, Castlevania. Ryan, you owe me $2 for that reference. Castlevania 3, another game that causes issues with clone systems. Thus far, I have actually never ran into an issue with Castlevania. I do think, again, the sprite work and everything looks muddy and blurry. Now, one thing that I've always noticed with clone systems with this game is when you pick up a money bag, the color of the money bag isn't quite what it should be. And there's the example right there. You can see how it has more of a purple hue to it versus closer to the white hue that an actual NES would show. That is pretty consistent with most of these. Gotta thank Trip, one of my Patreons, who helped me find Parodius Da last year at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. This I am using. It is a Famicom game that I'm using, playing a 60 to 72 pin adapter. Now, if you're not familiar with Parodius, it's very similar to like Gradius or Life Force or any of those games, but it mixes characters from a number of different games into it, kind of like YY World 2 does. So next we are going to play my German version of Tetris. It's, you know, being German, it is a PAL game, and I'm curious to see if it's something that, ooh, kill everybody on screen. I'm curious to see if it's something that I actually have to flip that PAL NTSC switch or not. On some systems, it will just play the PAL game without any issue whatsoever. And I died again. Let's play some Tetris. So I didn't have to switch the switch. It's still on NTSC, and as you can see, it's playing just fine. But you can hear the music is sped up just like most PAL games would be on an NTSC TV. So, you know, that's kind of what I expected. It's Tetris. There's not much to say about it, but it does play PAL games just fine. I do find it interesting when a system will play a PAL game and not require the PAL NTSC switch to be switched itself. Let's see if we can't just get one Tetris here. There we go. It's playing Tetris just fine, and again, as you can see, this is my German version. You can see the German language on the back and everything. We're to wrap things up with a game that might make you feel a little nervous. Might be time to get a little dangerous. This is my PAL version of Darkwing Duck. So much like Tetris, Darkwing did not require that I flip the NTSC or PAL switch, which is really interesting. And here you can see the Drucke start, press start. All the dialogue here is in German. It's funny, I've played this version so much, going and playing the US version, it feels slow to me. It's kind of hurt my gameplay on this a little bit. I know you guys have probably heard me say it many times before when talking about system reviews and Darkwing Duck in general, but make sure you check out my friend E.C. Meyer's vids. He has done a complete playthrough on this. He is a heck of a lot better than I am at Darkwing and most other games, quite honestly. So I was able to jump through that, no issues, no, you know, lag or delay that caused any problems. The controller feels quite good for those who may be wondering. Feels pretty much like the wireless version that I've been using for a while, just I have a cord coming out of the back of it right now. I always think this, or find this jump to be weird. There we go. Because I have to jump on the pulley. Ah, we have the gas, yes. Some of us have more of the gas than others have. Ooh, I am holding on by a feather there. Yes, full life. Some of the bass seemed to just disappear from the music a little bit there. I wonder if that was just the way the ROM itself was loaded. It's probably what it was, because now it seems back to normal. All right, let us see if we can get to Quackajack. So the thing with Quackerjack is to make sure that you have this gun, because without it he is a lot harder. And then just avoid the banana peels. There we go, we beat Quackerjack. Let's wrap it up. So one last thing I do want to show before we finally wrap things up. Duck Hunt, kind of a preview of an upcoming video. Does it work? Well, we have the Hyper Blaster set up. I'm going to come over there in front of the camera. We're going to see if it works. Nailed that one. Nailed that one. Now I'm going to shoot down, make sure that it does miss. Nailed that one. Nailed that one. Perfect. So after almost 3 years after my initial look at it, what do I think now in 2020 of the Hyperkin Retron HD? Well, first of all, game compatibility is very good. Battletoads is one that doesn't work, but that has an issue with many clone systems. Even Hyperkin's own Retron HD 2 doesn't play Battletoads. I don't know that I have many, if any, clone systems that will play Battletoads past the second level. It's interesting how many games that are PAL that worked with the NTSC switch not flipped over, so I really wonder how much of that is necessary. Now, on my NES 101 top loader, it'll play PAL or NTSC games no problem, so it could be something similar to that. I will say the Cadet wired controller, 10-foot long cable on here, very comfortable. Overall, a pretty well regarded controller, and generally speaking, these will cost you $10 to $15. These are now available for around $30 most places. One of my initial criticisms of the system was it was $40 to $50, only came with one controller, when other systems were available for $40 to $50, included two. Just that extra value I thought hurt the Retron HD a little bit. Does play Famicom games with the 60 to 72 pin adapter. We have bonks here playing in the back. It's crazy to think there's a bonk, something designed for the TurboGrafx here, that came out for the Famicom. Too cool, and actually for the NES, but the NES version, yeah, that's stupid expensive. It even works with Hyperkin's Hyper Blaster HD. And pretty flawlessly, I have to admit. I was shocked at how well the Hyper Blaster worked with the Retron HD. It gave me some ideas to try now on my NES 101 to see if I can't get that loaded. And that is one of those things, like I mentioned at the top of this video, make sure you're subscribed. We are going to be revisiting the Hyper Blaster, showing you how I got it to work, and giving you more insight on that overall setup. Someone like me, would I buy this system today if I had nothing else? If I had nothing else, it's a definite maybe. I still think the color palette is way too dark, and the audio with the reverse duty cycle, yeah, on Mario, it is not good. But that's pretty common with clones. I'm not saying that I'm excusing it, and it's probably one of the worst as far as that reverse duty cycle, and I don't like how muddy the palette is, but with the high compatibility with games and the fact that it just works, this is an okay place for you to start out. It's not where you would end up, I will tell you that, but it is one of those things where if you have an NES collection, you just want to easily connect it to your TV, it's an okay solution. Good controller, good compatibility. It is not a death grip on the cartridges. It has a reasonable grip, but not something that you feel like you have to yank and work hard to get out. That perfect pin technology, it's a real thing, and it's something Hyperkin has added to pretty much all of their systems from this system moving forward. But now these are just my opinions. What do you think? Is this something you would check out? Are you surprised with the game compatibility, and are you surprised that it worked with Duck Hunt? I actually am. Now, again, it only worked with Duck Hunt with the Hyper Blaster, so you do need that. And that is why I bought one of these, again, is to test that out. Let me know down in the comments if you have any other questions. You can also go ahead and email me at rocksolidmail@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter at RockSolidStudios, Facebook at Facebook.com/RockSolidProductions, and Instagram at Instagram.com/RockSolidProductionsGK. If you also want to help support the future of Rock Solid Productions and get early access to our content, I invite you to head on over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/rocksolid. For as little as $1 a month, $12 a year, you do get early access to our content, you do get exclusive content, and a whole lot more. You can also head on over to our Teespring store on screen right now, where we have t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and more, so you can show your Rock Solid Productions pride, and everything that we raise goes right back into the channel. Like our new wireless mics that we have some new lights we've been working on. We bought a Hyperkin Retron HD just to check out for this and to see if we couldn't get the Hyper Blaster HD working. That's thanks to everybody here that watches, likes, comments, subscribes, clicks on an ad, or helps us out on Patreon or through Super Chats. Seriously, thank you all so very much. It's greatly appreciated. Never expected, but always appreciated. Now, if you do want to pick up a Retron HD, head on over to CastlemaniaGames.com. And one of the cool things is Ryan over there at CastlemaniaGames.com has what's called Castle Cash. It's his rewards program where the more you spend, the more you earn towards future purchases. And the cool thing about Castle Cash, it's just like cash. So if you have 25 bucks in Castle Cash to spend, you have $25 to spend in the castle. You can also use promo code ROCKSOLID10 to save 10% off of most items on the website. Make sure you subscribe to his newsletter as well. That way you are kept up to date with everything that's going on inside the castle. Ryan, thank you for your continued support of myself and of the community. And you've heard me mention it a couple times here. If you like what you see, if you want to see more, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and let me know if there is one series of games that you could collect for, what would it be? The Retron HD, very similar to my opinions 3 years ago, but it works with the Hyper Blaster, so it adds value just because of that. My name is Gary, this has been Rock Solid Productions and our look at the Hyperkin Retron HD NES clone system. I thank you for watching. I hope to see you soon.